think it's gonna start raining pretty hard in a minute.
What's up, guys? This is Ty Zen again. We're in the middle of Times Square. We're speaking while all these street performers are performing in front of us. The rain is sprinkling, right? And we're trying to bring this to you guys as best we can, okay? With us, we got 15 Cent Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hey, everybody.
Right? 15 Cent Joe bought Bitcoins back when it was 15 cents.
That might actually be a slight exaggeration, but they were very, very, very cheap.
Didn't you have like thousands of them?
No, I never had that many, but it was very easy to mine them with CPUs back in the day.
What did you do, man? Just sit there and wait, and as soon as Satoshi released the white paper, you start mining, or what? Like, how the hell did you know to mine it back when it was only 15, 20 cents?
It was going around as a way that you could buy a higher performance computer hardware and pay it off within months. Oh. So it was circulating.
Oh, it wasn't even a currency back then.
No, not at all. It was no one really knew much about it. It just was this thing, and people were going, "Hey, if I buy this new fast processor with 4 cores, I can run this program at night, and then I can sell them." And
Yeah. And hey, don't forget, guys, that we got our other team member, David Fong here, right?
Hey, guys.
So we finally got him to come out of the woodworks, come out of the shadows, and come public now, after all these years of being in the background and building all the tools and all the indexes for us to trade and manage your portfolio. So, okay, so this is an investing channel, right? In other videos, you've talked about the Particl marketplace. Let's talk about the Particl staking.
Okay.
Right? Yep. Because there's the proof of stake, and then there's proof of work blockchains. In the proof of work blockchains, you need lots of mega hashes to process the transactions and secure the network.
It really should be a progressive curve of required hash power to protect.
But in the proof of stake system like Particl, it's a proof of stake, so you don't need mega hashes of hardware. You just need lots of Particl tokens.
Lots of individual people on individual devices that are doing nothing more than having the marketplace open as an application.
And the purpose of this is to prevent centralization of processing and securing the network. Okay, so talk about what you like about, You're always the early guy into all this new stuff, so
I wish.
Explain to our audience what you like about the Particl staking and what kind of returns are you making.
So right now, I can't give you exact numbers because the amount of coins that are staking, and so for everyone out there, Particl is a proof of stake coin, and so that means that simply owning the token is going to generate you 5% interest. So it has a 5% quote unquote APR, right?
Yeah.
And so this means that
and just so that the audience understands, that means that if you just leave your tokens, your Particl tokens in your wallet software,
and leave your wallet open and running,
and leave the computer running, right? And what you do is at the bottom right, you unlock it just for staking only.
Correct.
So that no one can go in and transfer tokens out of there. It's only for staking, right?
Yep.
And then if you leave it running and you volunteer your computer to secure and process transactions for the network, what kind of returns or profit or money are you getting at it for volunteering your computer like that?
The Particl assets that I own that I'm hoping to keep basically forever.
Yeah. And for privacy reasons, you don't have to tell us how many millions of tokens you have.
I wish. You can't. I wish. Every time we have this talk, the Bitcoin price will go down, and the amount of everything else that goes up. Anyway, so the proof of stake is there's tons of data out there, tons of videos on YouTube, but it is secured, like we just said, by people that have the software, that have it open, and to incentivize people to have it open, every block, so every 2 minutes that you have your wallet open, you're basically entering the lottery, so to speak. And however many Particl tokens you have is whatever percentage chance you have of being awarded the stake payment for that block.
Like a lottery ticket.
It's like a lottery ticket, and right now it's about 1.5 Particl per stake. So every 2.5 minutes, 1.5 Particl, which is worth like $12 or $11.
Yeah. So every couple of 2.5 minutes, you say.
Yep, 2 minutes.
Somebody wins a block.
Yep. Somebody wins a
and
block.
that block reward is about 1.5
Correct. And
Particl tokens.
And you don't win the block by having a multi-million-dollar private farm somewhere with custom hardware. You win it by just having your laptop open.
So each Particl token that you hold in your wallet is like having a lottery ticket.
Correct. Any
So obviously the more tokens you have, the more
Correct.
quote
More
unquote
chances.
lottery tickets
Correct.
or opportunities you have.
However, over time, it should amortize out to being roughly 5% APR. Paul, the community manager, he posted numerous times this kind of like little quick rule where if you have 10, you can expect to get a stake once a year, and if you've got 1,000, you'll get one every like 4 days or something, right? It's I don't remember the exact details, but you can go and look, and it kind of gives people kind of investing targets.
Yeah.
Quick question. So when you've got this client running, is it really consuming your computer's CPU? Like, what's
No, it doesn't. I can answer that. It like on an i7 processor with 16 gigs of RAM, the processing that it consumes, the CPU and the RAM it consumes is negible. It's barely noticeable.
I would call it nearly invisible on new.
You don't even notice it.
Correct. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm really passionate about proof of stake. All the different algorithms have their own, Achilles heels in a theoretical sense, et cetera, et cetera. But proof of stake, I determine now to be fair. One of the most fair ways. Distribution's always tricky, but I consider it to be, the superior way to secure a blockchain right now. And so, assuming.
So speaking of fairness, I want to add this. I did some research, and I think like the Particl Foundation holds like the biggest wallet, and they're not staking it.
I don't think they are. No.
Yeah, because I looked and it's not being staked.
And so
I think that they do that just so that the community doesn't think that they are trying to make money off of their stake.
I mean, it's interesting because as an investor and a seller, I actually want the foundation to be well funded. I want the foundation to have the money. So,
but I don't know if it does not appear to be. Maybe I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but last time I checked, it does not appear that they are staking the coins that they're holding.
I'm actually unsure, and it's one of those things where that would explain why when I calculate my own numbers, I'm getting more than 5% APR. And so you can go on a couple different websites, and it's starting to rain pretty good now.
Yeah.
You can go on several different websites and see what percent of the network is staking, and I think it's between 60 and 70%. So what that means is that you're, on average, if 100% of Particl was in wallet staking, not in escrow, not being transferred, not on exchanges, you would be getting 5% interest on your investment. But because it's about 60 or 70%, you're actually getting 7 or 8% right now.
So it's a little bit higher than 5%.
It's higher than 5%.
Okay.
And it's my assumption that the more popular the marketplace gets, the more tokens will not be staking because they will be held on exchanges. They will be in transit because only stationary tokens are eligible to stake.
Because I noticed that when I first loaded up my wallet just to test it, it won't stake the first day.
Correct.
I think you have to wait.
I'm not sure it's 24 hours.
I think 24 hours, or if it's so many X amount of blocks.
I think it's X amount of blocks
before it starts staking.
And that number might change if the developers try to figure it out. But Particl that is always in motion will not be staking. And so the more use the market gets, the less coins will be staking. Therefore, the higher the interest payment will be for people for sellers that are holding a balance in their wallet. So, if you're currently to people out there listening, if you're currently an Amazon seller right now and you're watching this video, if you were selling on Particl, your Particl balance on the tokens that you were not, the tokens that you were letting sit there and stake would be going up. So it's almost like kind of a high interest banking mechanism for sellers as well.
So basically, if you were a traditional vendor on Amazon, your operating capital that's sitting there is not earning an interest, whereas the operating capital that you have sitting inside the Particl marketplace will be earning a stake.
It'll be earning a stake, and that
as long
stake,
as it sits still.
As long as it sits still. So I believe that's going to incentivize sellers to be holding their Particl until they need to turn it into Bitcoin or fiat or whatever they have to do, which means that Particl will become more scarce, therefore the token will go up in value, therefore more people will buy it just simply to hold it as a speculative asset that pays interest.
Okay.
And this goes back to the scale. And I think there's in the community, a couple months ago, I think somebody made a spreadsheet, and anyone can just make a spreadsheet where they, if only 20% of the tokens were staking and there was, 1,000 transactions a day, the APR is astronomical.
Okay, and let's talk about that too, because the system is designed at the protocol level to produce 5%.
Correct.
If all the coins are staking.
All the coins are staking.
Okay, but I think we spoke offline. Either I spoke with you or with Paul, the Particl community manager, and one of you guys said that because when the Particl marketplace comes online and people start buying and selling and making transactions, that if you volunteer your computer, not only will you get the new tokens that are being minted, but you also get the transaction fees that go along with it.
Yes.
Because right now the reward is 1.5 Particl tokens per block.
Correct.
But in the future, that block
increase.
will also, the reward will still be the same, right? But the transaction fees will be added to the reward.
Correct. And so, one can only, postulate, one can only assume, that might at some point be quite high. Transaction fees, which I believe will be quite low, but need to be high enough to prevent spam listings on the network. And I have no idea what the ideal number would be, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it was, a non-trivial but still very affordable amount.
5% though, that's I thought I read that it's going to decline.
Correct. It'll decline over time, and so, it's
decline. The Particles that are rewarded out decline, but the transactions, the Particl marketplace transaction fees should increase by then.
And so I think I know where you're going. So the idea is to reduce the inflation to actually maintain scarcity of the actual token itself, so that way it protects the value proposition the token has to be an income earner, so more people stake it, so more people make the market faster. And so, it's just, you can go at this from 100 different angles, but
It's just a virtuous cycle.
It's a virtuous cycle, and so it's in my ways it's a model that if you really take a step back and you really think about it, you start to see all these ways where it becomes a feedback loop. It just becomes an endless feedback loop. And so think about this: if you're a seller on the Particl marketplace and only half the coins are staking, so your APR is 10%. There's also a couple hundred transactions a day happening on the marketplace. And so instead of the stake being 1.5 Particl every 2 minutes, it's 3 or it's 5. And so as a seller, you've got $5,000 fiat worth of Particl sitting there, and the number's going up every time you log in.
Yeah.
Right? It's going up every time you log in. You're going to become like an evangelical Particl shill. You're going to be running around trying to figure out how to get more buyers to enter the ecosystem. You're going to come up with your own MLM schemes.
It's almost like self-perpetuating.
Correct. Because what'll happen is that the more entrenched you get and the more Particl that you have, the more chances you have of getting a block. It's the same arms race that secures proof of work, only now it is the people that are actually making the end product, the marketplace, desirable to the end consumer. They're now part of the architecture. They're now the machinery trying to go out and figure out how to grow it as fast as possible, because not only are they selling goods and services at a higher profit than they probably can anywhere else online, they're doing it in a more secure environment that has much less opportunity for them to be scammed. Like if I sell you a laptop for $1,000, you claim it's broken, you ship a box of rocks back to me, Amazon gives you your $1,000 back, and I get a box of rocks, and I'm out of laptop, right?
Yeah.
So there's all these myriad of benefits that I believe the particle marketplace is going to bring to fruition over time. But just from a purely speculative investment standpoint, this thing hardly has to work for it to probably be a keystone asset for me personally. I personally believe that a very low amount of actual use, maybe real estate brokers use this to secure deposits on buying real estate or something. Let's assume, even if it only ever attains, that level of adoption for whatever global reason, I still think that a particle token is going to be, one of the smartest things that I've personally, participated in.
I want to add to that just after looking through the white paper, and the team has really thought through the scenarios and the incentives really holistically. I was really impressed by the level of detail that I saw, and clearly you're seeing that in the ecosystem with just the particle staking, so it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's
thanks.
well. Thanks for sharing that with us, man. And that's I staked it a few times, but I actually have a better understanding of it now that you've explained it. I appreciate that. You have any other questions from David?
No, I gotta get staking.
Oh, okay.
Like it.
All right. Well, thanks.
Everyone needs to stake.
Everyone needs to stake to help secure the network.
Secure the network
Yeah.
and get paid.
Yeah. All right, guys. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and thanks for explaining that to us, Joe. And if you guys like more videos like this, go to www.cryptocurrency.market/newsletter and follow our newsletter. And if you guys want to follow the Particle community, do you have a Twitter handle or just?
No.
Okay, so to check out the website, it's Particl.io, and that's Particle without the E at the end. It's P as in Papa, A as in Alpha, R as in Romeo, T as in Tango, C as in Charlie, and L as in Lima, .io. Okay, so do not go to the wrong one, because there's a lot of phishing websites and scam websites that are trying to scam the Particle users. Okay, so make sure you guys go to the correct website and go to the Particle Twitter handle and follow them too. Okay, so thanks for watching this video, guys, and we'll see you guys in a future video.